It's going to be a battle of the boxes this holiday season. Each of the major players in the gaming industry are coming out with new consoles. Nintendo's the latest to announce details of a new console. ABC's Ned Potter sat down with Reggie Fils-Aime, the president of Nintendo America.
Thank you very much for being with us. We're glad to have you with us today. Talk about the Wii. This is not everybody's video game. This is not what people are used to, I guess.
It really isn't. Nintendo is going down a very different path than our competitors. We want to bring gaming back to the masses. What that means is we want all types of consumers to be playing with our system, whether they're hardcore who are going to love games like Zelda, or if it's brand new consumers, and we have great content for them. So it's a very different path, a very different strategy.
You've got this controller, which is quite a bit different from what you know. I think of kids going like this and staring blankly at the screen. You're going a different direction.
Yeah, the Wii Remote is highly technical and essentially allows you to play in a true 3D space. Well, what does that mean? That means to play tennis, you're not doing this, you're doing this.
You're swinging as if you were holding a racket.
You're swinging as if you're holding a racket. You get feedback when you hit the ball. If you twist your wrist, you'll put top spin. If you swing up, you'll do a lob. It's phenomenal. And we've brought that to life not only in tennis, but in golf, in boxing, in bowling. And we've brought it to life in a variety of other games as well. It's a very different path, very innovative path, and the reaction has been phenomenal.
Tell us a little bit about how that works.
The technology in this is a variety of Bluetooth as well as motion sensing technology. The consumer will have what is called a sensor bar that they'll put alongside their TV that will connect to our system, which is essentially what measures the space, if you will, or the reactions that you're doing with this Wii Remote. In addition, there's another attachment for certain games that we call the nunchuck. It essentially allows you to manipulate your character through the screen. And with those two elements as your controller, what you're able to do has never been done before.
And the types of game, the actual titles you'll have are different from what Sony or Microsoft might sell.
They are very different. What you'll see, packed into the hardware is a piece of software called Wii Sports, and this is what I was talking about earlier. Compilation of 5 different sports that use caricatures that you can create. So you can have yourself actually playing a game, and
I had some blonde guy in it.
That's right. And it doesn't look like anything that our competitors do. Now, we also have the uber beautiful, distinctive games as well. Legend of Zelda, that looks fantastic. We also have games like Madden, but you play them differently. Imagine playing a Madden football game where the motion is the way a quarterback is throwing the football to throw a pass down the field. That's what we're trying to do, and we've had tremendous support by folks like EA and Activision to bring these kind of games to life.
Now you're going to sell this console for $250.
That's correct.
Which is a lot lower than other consoles are going for, at least at the start, right?
Absolutely. You know, versus our other competitor that's going to be launching at about the same time, we're about half their price. But more than that, the value that we represent and the path that we're going really is what sets us apart. If you want a fantastic, innovative experience, and you want a great value, there really is only one choice on November 19th, and that's the Wii.
Do you have to give up some bells and whistles, frankly, to get it down to $250?
You know, there are some choices that we made in the development in order to be able to achieve that price point. There's no DVD playback capability, and our thinking is most consumers have about 5 different DVDs in their house, so that's not going to be missed. Also, our games are not high definition, and again, our thinking is high definition penetration at this point is about 15% of households. It's not something that we believe the mass market is really going after. Our focus with a mass market game was to have a mass market price, and a mass market collection of software. And we think we've done that.
Something that we've talked about among ourselves a lot is that gaming has an image problem, fairly or unfairly. You know, a lot of people think of the gamer as somebody addicted to that little thing, staring blankly at the screen. It's a pimply-faced kid on his way to a life of crime. Now, that's not necessarily the average gamer, but you need to break away from that, and it looks like, and it sounds as if you're trying.
We really are. We view the gaming audience as mainstream and massive, but in order to deliver against that, we need games that are mainstream and massive. In addition, in order to get consumers who are maybe 40, 50, 60 years old playing games, we needed to have new offerings, and we have that in the Wii. We've announced that there's a Wii channel feature built into the hardware. What it allows you to do is surf the internet. It allows you to create the caricatures that I talked about earlier. It allows you to download historical games. So if you grew up playing a great NES game from 20 years ago, it might be available for download. All of this added content allows us to broaden the audience beyond the prototypical 15-year-old to consumers who frankly never thought of themselves in the gaming audience. We want that consumer buying our platform.
To make this thing a success, do you need people who would never have thought of themselves as buying a video game console before?
You know, to be successful, do we need that incremental audience? Honestly, no, because we have the breadth for the mainstream core consumer, the core gamer today, to play. We have that product. But to be dominant in this industry, to win more broadly, we do believe we need that incremental consumer, and that's why we're focused on having the software to get that consumer.
In all frankness, there are these two other companies, Microsoft and Sony. They have larger market share than you do. Do you need to get ahead of them? And they've had their stumbles along the way. Do you need to take advantage of those?
We certainly want to. And between the success we've had with the Nintendo DS in the handheld space and the success we see with Wii, Nintendo can become the dominant player again in this industry. And certainly that's my focus. It's interesting though, in order for me to win, must they fail? I don't think so, because they're trying to do something very different. But our goal is to be the leader in this industry, not only from an innovation standpoint, but certainly from a market share as well.
Let me ask more about that wireless hand controller. There have been attempts before to break away from what the interface in most games has been. You know, there was that famous glove, and a lot of those things just sort of never caught on. Is there some threshold that you think you've crossed?
Yes. It's the ease of use and the intuitive nature that makes this system different than the Power Glove or all of this other gimmicky approach to video games that frankly hasn't worked before. The other piece is that the software library that brings this to life is quite extensive. 30 titles during our launch window, 15 titles at launch. That's what will make this go beyond simply a one-hit wonder to truly being a new way to play video games.
This will reach stores in November.
November 19th.
And with any luck, there will be some people indeed lining up around the block, camping overnight to be the first to get it. How important are those people to you?
You know, those consumers, the core gamer, very important to us. And you know what? I'll be at a store in the New York area where they will camp out and I will be handing out some Wiis that very first minute that were available for purchase. But the fact is, we want their fathers and mothers and younger sisters also playing. And those are the consumers who are going to buy us after our launch day and be highly satisfied as well. We want both, the core gamer as well as this new type of consumer.
Well, thank you so very much for talking with us.
Thank you.